Hello everyone and welcome back to Watch This Weekend. There is a new movie on Netflix called The In-Between, starring Joey King and Kyle Allen. The plot is refreshing and has goofiness, drama, romance and heartbreak. But most importantly, it has a supernatural twist, and today we will be answering the big question if it's based on a true story or not. So before we answer that, yes, you know the drill. Let's first explore the ending of the film. The movie begins with a scene of a traumatic accident, following which Tessa still feels the presence of Skylar around her sometimes. Another patient from the hospital, being an expert on afterlife, describes to Tessa that there exists an in-between life and death, and a person who has things left undone or unsaid is stuck and sends messages from that in-between. Tessa ignores it at first, but later when she gets innumerable signals, she can't hold back and goes on to look for Skylar. Their beautiful and last encounter in the in-between is what brings the audience closure. We see that Shannon, Tessa's best friend, helps her escape the hospital in an attempt to let Tessa reunite with Skylar. When they sit in the car, Shannon completely loses the control of her car, and it's Skylar's spirit that takes them to the spot of the accident. On reaching there, we see Tessa faints and we find her soul exiting her body, which can be known as the astral dimension, a parallel dimension where the soul can exist without the body. She then has a flashback and is met with the fact that she said "I love you" to Skylar and finally meets him again. Making the most of the little time they had in the in-between, Tessa and Sky live out certain dreams the way they had imagined, such as Paris, and as mentioned by Skylar, everything here is just a memory, a dream that they have projected onto the world. Then comes the time when they must finally say goodbye and let the story come to a happy ending. In that moment, Tessa decides that life is worth living and returns back.
I don't want to say goodbye.
You don't have to. Love never dies.
We know that all of us like to believe that there is life after death, and these love stories have some truth in them. Well, The In-Between is actually based on certain events from the author Mark Twain's personal life. The movie is actually an adaptation of the book by the same name and follows the same plot line. After the tragic death of his ex-girlfriend, Jessica Kaplan, who he has dedicated the book to, Klein couldn't justify certain events in the aftermath of her death. All of this led him to believe that perhaps she was trying to communicate with him. That is what brought him to research on ADC, or after-death communication. The incidents in his life inspired him to share this epiphany, which he brought to us as a novel and a movie. For some of us, the supernatural forces and spirits don't exist. But many who have had experiences with a loved one dying a tragic death, we know that their love never dies and that they could leave us hints to prove that. This movie is a sweet story and a chance to see beyond life and discover the in-between.